That powerful goddess or sorceress would begin to exert a great interest in Kakarot, and so she would begin to fully investigate the multiverse of Zeno-Sama, realizing where all that power came from. That's right, Kakarot possessed much more potential than any Saiyan. By mixing her cells with the potential of a being of divine energy, and not just any being, one of the most powerful beings of all the multiverses, and in the same way exceeded the potential of Zeno-Sama because on this occasion, the warrior instinct that the Saiyans possessed, it was much higher than the instinct possessed by the king of the whole, and by mixing both cells, it was possible to create an abominable warrior. Well, so that's why that boy is so powerful. Although it makes me a little curious what will happen when they find out that the 5th Supreme Commander of the Imperial Court has fallen on the battlefield. But instantly that goddess was able to have a premonition in which she observed herself along with the entire celestial castle in complete chaos. While a giant beast destroyed everything in its path, instantly the goddess was able to come to herself. What was that? It has been millions of years since I sealed my powers of premonition myself. But only I left a small part active that is activated when it comes to an omniversal extinction danger. That goddess has remained very thoughtful in that angelic prowess. Meanwhile, returned to the planet Dbs, both deities were surprised to realize the type of training that child was able to endure, since even an angel found it difficult to be able to carry out that training. For a god, it was completely impossible.
Hey Wes, we should also train in the same way since we can't stay behind a Saiyan child. I'm sure we could become much more powerful.
Likewise, I thought the same thing. We can't have the genetics of the king of all, but we have been designated as gods and angels, so our genetics likewise is amazing. So let's start with the training.
Heh, that's definitely what I was looking forward to hearing.
For his part, we could observe as Goku, trying to break his limits, he had been able to master the Ultra Instinct to 100%, with which he was even able to overload his body with energy without losing speed in the process. But he wasn't satisfied since he wasn't able to take his new body to a new level.
Damn it! I'm not able to become more powerful. If I continue with this pathetic power, I won't be able to avenge my father. I have to become even more powerful.
Believe me, I understand, Kakarot, but it should not be over-demanded, because if any energy veins destroyed, you won't be able to train for the next 6 months.
No, Daishinken, my father gave his life for all of us, and I'm sure that damned celestial kingdom will send more capable warriors, realizing how this warrior doesn't return from his mission.
Meanwhile, in the angelic kingdom, a great man with inevitable musculature would be observed, while on the side of this warrior there seemed to be a mutant warrior because he was simply a skeleton. Although his appearance gave a lot to talk about, that warrior released a pressure which was capable of annihilating 12 universes with just one of his fingers if he wanted.
Hey, Seokomi, come here. I want you to ask the 5th Commander to go to the multiverse of the Queen of all Toa. I want him to inform that in a very few months there will be a celestial ceremony, and on this occasion we'll have the privilege of coming.
Of course, my lord. At this very moment, I inform the 5th Supreme Commander.
Seokomi would leave. She would start looking for the 5th Commander, but it was completely impossible, because even her divine soul had been turned into simple dust of the universe. So Seokomi unsuccessfully would inform her king.
My lord, I've tried to locate the 5th Commander all over the celestial realm, and even in the minor multiverses, and I haven't been able to have any success.
This is very strange, because for the 5th Commander is one of the most loyal and steadfast beings. I want you to investigate what happened.
As you order, my lord.
Thus the king's right-hand man would begin to investigate what happened to the 5th Commander. While on the other hand, Solemn, the beautiful goddess, had noticed that after 2 months had passed, they had noticed the disappearance of the 5th Commander.
No, I must prevent them from ending the life of that child. If my premonition is correct, a warrior that even will not be able to stop. He will end all of us. We need the power of that child.
Solemn, with his great speed, would begin to head between multiple dimensions, so that the security of the Celestial Kingdom wouldn't be able to detect it. The instant he found himself on the outskirts of the kingdom, he would use all his speed to reach the planet of Beerus, where he was able to feel the power of Kakarot.
Kakarot, you better take a break, since apparently even your body seems to be reaching the limit.
Rest is also important for the growth of internal energy, since the energy veins must be coupled to the new power.
No, Daishinken,
I'll make them adapt to the whole heavenly kingdom is completely destroyed. I can't get the look out of my father of my head. He gave his life for me.
Kakarot, I know I can't understand your pain, but you have to think that the great Zenos-Sama would like to see you on the path of evil. Your death would have been in vain if you go that way.
But before Kakarot's able to respond, a barrier would be created around the entire planet of Beerus. While at the top of the planet, a very beautiful woman could be observed. However, her pressure was something incredible. Although she tried to decrease it, she was not able to completely disappear it. The only ones who were able to stand were Daishinkan and Kakarot. Both deities were completely on the ground. The goddess, realizing that her pressure was about to end the life of both deities, would transmit a little bit of his energy with which they were not able to move freely, because the energy of a celestial being was bestiality. It's not accordance with that goddess had created in the same way a barrier for both deities. So at the moment, she would begin to come down from heaven as if were a high-ranking being. You must be Kakarot, the son of Zeno-Sama, the being who ended the life of the 5th Supreme Commander. I knew you were coming for us, but this time we have to become very powerful. Kakarot would expel his power to the maximum, with which he had thrown himself against Solemn. However, despite his efforts, it was completely impossible for him to do anything against that goddess, who, with great elegance, was able to dodge everything and every one of his blows. And due to his speed at the moment of dodging, he even created several rays which released a little pressure, making Kakarot's speed decrease significantly. Damn! I want you to fight against me! I'll not give my life without fighting. I can see that you're much more powerful than me, but I'm a warrior! That goddess would approach towards Kakarot, which, with her hand, possessed a strange energy, which released absolutely nothing of evil. At the moment, she would move at a flashing speed, with which she was able to put that energy on Kakarot's body. Daishinkan, being about to attack, would be stopped by the goddess. I know that you're worried about the well-being of this warrior, but I'm doing absolutely nothing, since it is heavenly energy, but in greater quantity.
Why would you grant him celestial energy? Do you want to help us?
I am the goddess of ruin. My power is being so great I had to seal it myself, as well as seal my premonitions. But some time ago I had this promotion. The goddess would touch the head of Daishinkan, being able to transmit to him the promotion that he was able to have. Daishinkan was surprised to realize how everything was destroyed and the amount of corpses could be observed, just like his in that of all the deities of the other multiverses.
What the hell was that?
I definitely have no idea. I just know that this Saiyan is the key for none of that to happen, and for that reason I have granted him the celestial energy, since the celestial kingdom is already investigating the disappearance of the 5th celestial.
I appreciate your help. We promise to do everything possible to make that premonition not come true.
With that, I withdraw. The possible that Kakarot remains in said state for about 1 month, until he is able to assimilate said energy. In that time, I plan to delay the investigation as much as I can. Instantly, Solemn was about to leave from Kakarot's body, an extremely incredible power was beginning to be unleashed, which left both surprised, since Kakarot's body was beginning to have a transformation in which his mortal energy had completely disappeared. That's right, in this moment, Kakarot was no longer a hybrid between a mortal and a god. It was a hybrid between a god and a celestial, because being able to dominate the celestial energy, his own body had eliminated the weakest energy he possessed. This is the deadly energy. How is it possible for me to release all that heavenly energy power? I've granted him that much power. I can't believe I've been able to master him in these minutes. Kakarot's body continued to hibernate in amazing power, while his hair began to grow in an incredible way. Like his power, the barrier that Solemn had placed was able to withstand that power, but it began to crack. Daishinkan, realizing that this would channel energy into the barrier.
I can't allow that barrier to be destroyed, because if Kakarot's power is released in that way, he will annihilate at least 6 universes with only the pressure of his power.
Daishinkan, despite using 100% of all his power to try to stop the barrier from cracking, would be impossible for him. Kakarot's power at this moment had been able to even overcome it, but seconds before it was completely destroyed, Solemn was able to restore it, but it had cost him a huge amount of energy. I really did not think that a simple child would be able to master that energy, since even the genius of our kingdom
takes 3 weeks, while normal beings take up to 3 months or more. You're apparently a genius. I thought it would only be 1 month, but I did not think it would be minutes. At the moment, an incredible explosion would be created all over the place, which left absolutely nothing to observe. While both deities were safe inside that barrier, but equally surprised of the incredible power that Kakarot was able to detach.
Hey Wes, there really isn't much difference that separates us from one lineage as it's from the great Zeno-Sama. I can't believe that the power that Kakarot-sama releases.
Although it is difficult to assimilate, it is incredible. The power that can be achieved by a warrior who possesses the lineage of a king at all. While all the smoke from the explosion dissipated, everyone was surprised by Kakarot's new appearance. However, with a very cold look, that goddess was able to give him hundreds of blows, sending him flying to a few rocks, with which the contact turned into simple dust, because the power with which Kakarot had attacked her was of another level. Instantly, Daishenka would try to stop Kakarot, but it would be in vain, because at the moment, Kakarot would appear in front of the goddess, with the intention of hitting her again. But instantly, in the same way, an incredible aura would grow all over the planet of Beerus. I don't think I will allow you to put one more hand on me. You are a child without manners, but right now I'll teach you a part of the power of the goddess of ruin. Instantly, Kakarot, despite having obtained that incredible power, would be sent to fly, while the goddess at a great speed would go after Kakarot, starting to give him a beating. However, while Kakarot but got angry, his power grew in incredible ways. So at the moment, Kakarot was able to start exchanging blows with the goddess, which was surprised. You are a very interesting warrior. To be able to master all that power in a few minutes is amazing. I can't believe it. But at the moment, Kakarot would expel too much blood all over the battlefield. That's right, Kakarot's body couldn't stand all the power that his body released. You possess an amazing ability, but even the body of a super genius must be able to adapt to that body. You better rest. The goddess, with a powerful blow, was able to leave him, and it was combat, so he would approach Daishenkin. However, without the barrier being deactivated by Solemn, it would fall to pieces. Being able to observe himself at the top, a new warrior, in which this time even overshadowed the power of Solemn. A powerful warrior had been able to destroy the barrier that Solemn had placed, as if nothing had happened. Even the pressure was starting to crack the barrier that protected the deities of the entire Universe 7.
Well, it's a surprise. Apparently, Tsuyokomi was right about your supposed betrayal. It's a pity that you chose the wrong side. Solemnly.
Solemn, instantly without words, would begin to make thousands of spheres of fire fall on that powerful warrior. But that warrior, with only one of his fingers, was able to create 3-dimensional void, which, with all the attacks he had made, would be devoured as if it were simply nothing.
We never fight with each other, since that is forbidden in the angelic realm. But you must have heard of my iconic technique, Infinite Void. Damn, I never thought that technique in combat would be so devastating. I won't be able to do anything against this dam. I will grant you one more chance solemnly. Finish with all these bastards, and let's return to the angelic realm, and I promise I will spare your life. No, Hades, I can't do that. You know that I can know. We can't end these beings. We are the key to change the future. Ha ha ha. Don't say stupid things. The useless Zeno even broke the rule of the whole divine world by mixing with a dirty mortal that is paid with death. But the 5th commander of the 2nd Division was not able to fulfill his mission. Damn it. Apparently the whole angelic kingdom has found out about what has happened with Kakarot. Oh, this is bad. We won't be able to do anything. For that very reason, they have sent me, an elite soldier of the 1st Divine Division. No, Hades, at this moment, if you want to finish with these beings, you'll have to pass over me, since I don't intend to let them die, much less being present myself. Ha ha ha! Don't think that because you're a simple woman, I'd have mercy on you. See, your reputation. You're a sadist, known as the Goddess of Ruin. If you had not sealed your power, no one from the angelic kingdom could face you. But now you are an insect.
Solemn was about to be exclaiming something, would be held by the hair with incredible brutality, being dragged all over the planet of the god Beerus. However, the planet of Beerus seemed to explode with the attack that Hades had lashed out against Solemn. If only with his simple pressure, the planet was about to collapse. Hades, realizing this, would come out of the atmosphere at a high speed holding Solemn as if it were a monster, would send to fly Solemn to a planet, destroying it in its entirety.
You really are, scumbag. What is said about the goddess of ruin seems to have only remained in the past, or were just fairy tales.
Ah, damn, that hurt me. But I'm gonna keep fighting, since I also belong to the first angelic division.
Solemn and Hades had thrown themselves to fight, Solemn throwing kicks, fists, energy spheres, and even colossal energy attacks that were capable of destroying a universe in its entirety. But with Hades, the mighty god, it wasn't enough. Even Daishinkan would try to help, but the simple pressure that emanated all over the place was able to hurt him completely, not being able to do anything because he was lying on the ground.
Damn! If the goddess Solemn dies, we'll go through the same thing. Why is fate so unfair? What sin was it that a mortal and a being of divine energy unite?
In front of Daishinkan, a great destruction would be caused, which had sent Daishinkan flying. Even the rocks of the planet of Beerus began to disintegrate completely due to such power from, while at the top of the planet, Hades began to descend.
What has happened? Is that all? You're nothing compared to me. You don't even have 1,000th of the power you claim to possess.
Damn, if only we were in the angelic realm, I could activate the pearl of my power. But being such a long distance, I won't be able to do anything to defend myself.
Hades would begin to approach Solemn, who, in a sadistic way, would begin to torture her, cutting off each of her limbs, which caused her incredible suffering. But she wouldn't let out any screams.
So apparently you still have guts. But before you end your life, I want to hear how you scream and beg for your life. I plan to torture myself, as you have no idea.
Hades had resorted to the lowest tortures, which were even done to warriors who attacked the entire integrity of the angelic world without caring about this. He would do it with a warrior who was previously his companion. At the moment, the unconscious Kakarot would begin to regain consciousness, realizing as Daishinkan and the woman with whom he had fought was on the verge of death.
What's going on? Feel my body hurts, but I also feel like an incredible power runs through my body.
Kakarot would try to stand up, being impossible. That's right, Kakarot's body seemed to weigh tons. Hades would realize that Kakarot had woken up, so he would start approaching Kakarot. Daishinkan, being on his way, would hold Hades' leg, trying to stop him.
Kakarot, use teleportation! Get out of here! You should have died! Do it now! It doesn't matter that he leaves even at the end of his pathetic multiverse. As long as the angelic energy exists in his hands, I will be able to locate him. And your damn touch stopping me with your dirty hands.
Hades, with a powerful kick, had sent Daishinkan flying, breaking most of his bones, while blood spreads all over his body, being on the verge of death.
I wanted to torture him a little more, but apparently you are a simple fly. That, with just one of my blows, I almost send you to the other world.
Kakarot, when observing even how Daishinkan was about to die at the hands of another warrior of the angelic kingdom, he would be filled with incredible anger. So much so that all his power began to overflow, which had drawn the attention of Hades, who would approach Kakarot, starting to beat him, cutting off a part of his body.
It doesn't matter how much you raise your power. You won't be able to do anything against me. You're just a simple worm beside me.
Hades, with a big kick, would send him towards some rocks. However, Kakarot would continue with his energy increase, which on this occasion was able to make all the 12 universes tremble. Although for Hades, it was still a power which was able to counteract.
Ha ha ha! So you have had a great hidden power. I want to witness with my own eyes that you are capable, since you being a hybrid, you must be more powerful than that stupid Zeno.
That was the sentence that unleashed all the anger that Kakarot had been holding back, so that at that moment, Kakarot's hair would turn a silver color, while his powers seemed to have no limit whatsoever.
No, Kakarot, don't attack him! If you do, you'll die! He's not a warrior that you're able to beat, he's on another level.
But Kakarot would turn his back to Hades, appearing on the side of Daishinkan, starting to heal each of his wounds. This action would make Hades too angry.
Damn good-for-nothing worm, are you ignoring me? At this moment, in one fell swoop, I'm thinking of sending you to the other world, you insect.
Hades, at a great speed, had rushed against Kakarot. But to everyone's surprise, Kakarot was stretching only one of his arms. Kakarot was able to stop Hades' blow without causing any collision, which surprised everyone present. Hades, at the moment, would retreat a few meters.
What the hell has happened? How are you able to stop one of my fists? That should be impossible for someone like you. You don't even know what I could do right now. And you being my enemy, I intend to show you that everything you think is impossible, I make it possible in front of your eyes.
Hades, at the moment, was able to move slightly, while behind it, a large mountain would be completely destroyed. That's right, Hades was able to dodge a blow from Kakarot, which contained an incredible power.
Well, apparently you really are someone powerful since you've been able to dodge one of my spiritual fists. What was that? I wasn't able to see anything. This must be a nightmare. How is he able to attack me with that speed if he hasn't had any increased greatly? I hope you're prepared for your defeat, as I intend to collect every single thing you have done to my friends, even to your partner, you scumbag.
Hades, being able to say anything, he would be thrown all over the planet of Beerus. Not being able to dodge a powerful blow that Kakarot had given him in the face of Hades, at the moment Hades would collide with a few rocks, being able to recover, although he was surprised to feel how warm liquid would come from his mouth.
Damn, don't tell me that thing ruins all my body's my own blood. This damn thing, I'm not going to forgive you. You, being beings who are born with a high level of power, you never see the need to train. Like me, since who by birth, I loved fighting, possessing the blood of a king of all. My power does not stop growing. This is amazing. I can't believe that Kakarot's able to stand up to a warrior who is even from the first angelic division. But his power shouldn't last long, since when he fought with me, he had too many side effects.
Annoyed, Hades would throw himself against Kakarot, which in the same way he would both begin to exchange thousands of blows all over the battlefield. The battle of both seemed very even. However, although the blows that Hades granted to Kakarot caused damage, it was nothing critical, unlike the blows that Kakarot granted to Hades, to the east not being used to pain. His integral system began to collapse every second, which Kakarot would take advantage of, granting him a powerful blow, sending him to an inhospitable planet, causing great chaos around, and without Hades being able to recover, Kakarot would likewise hold him by the head just as he had done with Solemn, dragging him by every planet and star he found in his path. So at the end, with a great blow, he would send him back to the planet of Beerus.
By the way of combat you have, I can tell that you have nothing but a good-for-nothing. Even a loser would be better than you. You have no experience in the slightest.
Those words would make the blood of Hades go to his head, which would make him attack without having a plan of attack, which would be counterproductive for Hades since Kakarot would take advantage of each of his weaknesses to humiliate him in the worst way. Hades at the moment would take a little space, so he would rise to the top of the planet, starting to collect a large part of all his remaining power, causing great chaos all over the place.
Damn worm! If you manage to dodge, it doesn't matter, since this whole damn multiverse will turn into simple cosmic dust. Die, miserable worms!
Hades would be able to collect all his energy, would throw that great attack, opening a portal with the intention of escaping. But being about to cross the portal completely, a big claw was able to hold him, pulling him out of the portal, throwing him towards a planet.
I'm not gonna let you go, and this pathetic power's nothing compared to mine. Just watch and tremble.
Kakarot would begin to clench his fists, while his incredible aura would grow in an incredible way, being able to even disintegrate that great attack, which left everyone present much more amazed.
Hey Wes, is a power like the one possessed by Kakarot-sama really possible?
If I wasn't seeing it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe it. But apparently the divine root influences too much, since being the offspring of a king at all, his divine root must also be of a king at all.
No. This was my best attack. How have you been able to disintegrate it like it was nothing?
Kakarot, with his teleportation, would appear in front of Hades, who on this occasion would begin to feel incredible fear, while observing his imposing silver-colored eyes, which with a simple glance was able to kneel him completely. That's right, the authority of his gaze was capable of even breaking the bones of a priest.
I can't move. This can't be happening to an angelic being from the first division. This must be a nightmare. You don't even serve to test my new power,
so it's time to send you to the other world. And don't worry, that soon the whole angelic kingdom will accompany you.
Hades, while trying to beg for his life, it would be in vain because instantly a powerful attack was able to completely pulverize him, leaving no ashes of what once was Hades. For his part in the angelic realm, Tsuyokomi would realize how the presence of Hades had disappeared from the entire divine world. Even his soul had been destroyed.
Yet another angelic has been annihilated in the divine world. And what the hell is happening? I have to investigate it in a better way so that the third one doesn't repeat the same.
Tsuyokomi, with his great mental power, would begin to investigate the whole situation that was happening in the multiverse of Zeno-Sama, realizing as the king of all had broken the most important rule of the entire divine and angelic kingdom.
So the warrior who has ended the lives of two angelic is a hybrid. This is strange, but it also doesn't explain the power he possesses.
However, the entire angelic kingdom would shudder when Tsuyokomi released a large part of all her power. However, realizing Solemn had granted her some angelic energy. At the end of the battle, hundreds of planets had been destroyed, while at the moment, as if it were a meteorite, Kakarot would fall to the planet of Beerus, creating a great destruction, while his entire body began to swell due to the excess energy he had used. But unlike the battle with Solemn, on this occasion, Kakarot was still conscious, because his resistance level had increased in a great way. But despite that, the pain was incredible, and this was clear since his screams were able to be heard all over the Universe 7. Solemn would quickly go with Kakarot.
Thank you for saving us, but your internal system's completely destroyed this time. I'm afraid it would be impossible for you to fight again.
To everyone present was surprised by the words that Solemn had said.
No, Solemn. If Kakarot's disabled in his energy cultivation, he'll have no reason to continue living. I know the Saiyans. They are only driven by their combative instinct.
But father, it's impossible to restore Kakarot-sama's internal system. That only is an omnipotent god king, I think, would be able to achieve it, and none of us possess such a power.
Apparently we won this battle, but we will lose the war. We'll never be able to do anything.
But from a great flash, which no one had been able to observe, a bright silhouette was in front of Kakarot. Everyone present, without caring about anything, rushed against that mysterious warrior, who without any difficulty was able to stop each of his attacks without the slightest difficulty.
What? How was he able to stop a blow with all my power with just one of his fingers? This is amazing. We're not able to even touch it, because its simple pressure forms a barrier that we're not able to break.
At the moment, the great light would begin to fade, managing to observe Zenos Sama in his combat form. The power he condensed was amazing, so much that this time he was even able to end the life of a celestial with a single blow.
But my lord, how is it possible that you're alive? This is amazing. I can't believe it.
I've always been considered a simple king and all, but I've never had to go through a training. So when I was about to die, I thought about my dear son Kakarot. If I had trained, none of this would have happened.
He's given me to understand that all that incredible power he currently possesses was able to achieve it by training in this short period of time.
You're right, Daishinken. I am a prodigy, and I will heal my son.
Zeno-Sama would begin to approach Kakarot, which at this moment had already been completely knocked out of combat. So at the moment, Zeno-Sama would place one of his hands on Kakarot's forehead, setting a large part of all the power of a king of the whole flow. So at the moment, an amazing power would begin to penetrate Kakarot's entire body. Recovering every vein of energy, those present were surprised at how a king of the whole was able to achieve such a feat.
This is amazing. I can't believe the power Zeno-Sama possesses right now. I'm sure he could sweep the floor with any warrior of the Divine First Division. That it is, my lord. Prove that you are not at all easy to eradicate. No matter who our enemy is, with the power of the great Zeno-Sama, there's nothing to fear. This'll be very interesting. And after so long, apparently I have to stretch my muscles. Fighting next to King at all. This'll be very fun.
But Mr. Beerus, for that we'll also have to become much more powerful, because with the current power we won't be able to do anything.
Have you forgotten the angelic power that the mighty Solomon Sama has bestowed upon us? We've not been able to train him, since at the moment that guy named Hades had arrived on our planet.
You are correct, Mr. Beerus. On this occasion, even we divine beings will be able to get hold of a great destructive power. On this part, returning to the angelic place, Tsuyokomi, realizing a gigantic power, would hopelessly turn to his king.
My lord, I have terrible news. The 5th commander of the 2nd Division has been eradicated, as is the mighty Hades from the 1st Division. That's a hard thing to believe, but if your right hand tells me, it's something that has really happened. But tell me, who has the necessary power to confront us?
Believe it or not, it's the multiverse of Zeno-Sama.
But there's something else, my lord.
The king, the old Zenos-Sama, has broken the main divine rule.
He has been able to have a son with a mortal, and the power with which his son was born is unparalleled. Oh, I see. In that case, the king of the whole Zeno-Sama, like his son, will have to die. And for his simple impertinence, half of his multiverse will have to be eradicated.
I understand, my lord. But at the moment, do you want me to deploy a squad?
Or are we just waiting to find out what's going on? Don't worry. I plan to send the Archangel of Death. He only has been defeated by me, since even he has the same power as yours.
My lord, am I really planning to wake up the Archangel of Death? This will be very dangerous, even for us, since it is very complicated to make him come to his senses.
Don't worry, he can only come to his senses with a being who's more powerful than him, since the killer instinct that the body possesses will always bow down to a much more powerful instinct.
Understood, my lord. As you order. The king of the entire angelic kingdom, named Grimoire, would begin to walk towards a large giant door of his entire palace. So, at the moment of opening the great door, a beautiful being could be observed with wings, which made him even look like an angelic being of the entire level. But at the moment of releasing all his bonds, a large armor would cover his entire body, while his power in the same way would begin to increase in an incredible way. So after a few minutes, the warrior, without warning, had launched himself against Grimoire. At the moment, both warriors began to exchange thousands of blows throughout the angelic kingdom. The blows that both connected generated great damage. However, Grimoire was only using 65% of all his power, unlike his enemy, who was using all his power. The Archangel was able to connect a sneaky blow in Grimoire's stomach, sending him to part of the planet, creating incredible chaos all around.
At this moment, my power even exceeds yours. Previously, you were able to defeat me and hold me captive as if I were a simple animal. But this time, my power is even able to end your life.
From the great crater, a great aura would rise from the angelic realm, while an amazing pressure would cause everything around it to start shaking. Even the Archangel of Death would be dragged to the ground due to all the powerful pressure.
You have the same power after millions of years, but this time my power has increased in an incredible way. But I don't want to end your life. I have an important mission for you, and I want you to be part of my elite warriors.
Damn it. Me being the most powerful angel of death of the 24 archangels.
I will start working for the angelic kingdom for this fucking humiliation.
The Archangel at the moment with all his power would connect a powerful blow on Grimoire's face, but this blow on this occasion had been able to move him a single centimeter. But Grimoire at the moment of a certain blow on his stomach had sent him flying millions of kilometers from where they were, while Grimoire at a great speed would appear again in front of the Archangel, who would vomit large amounts of blood.
I ask one more time, do you want to be part of my whole army, or do you want me to end your life right now?
I'm sorry, and that's okay. I'll be part of your whole army.
You've made the best choice of your life. You will regret it.
Grimoire would immediately stretch out one of his hands, beginning to heal each one of the Archangel's wounds, which instantly was able to stand up again.
But before working with you, I have a question. How have you been able to get all that incredible power? I can't take it in. In all this time, believe it or not, I have dedicated myself to training, so that my power is able to grow in a constant way.
That's awesome. I never thought that the power god Grimoire would undergo a training.
Since our last battle millions of years ago, I knew I couldn't let anyone be able to surpass me. So, after all, I started my great training thanks to you.
So, after all, I was the one to blame for you becoming such a powerful warrior as you are now.
In a nutshell, that's how it is. But I have a very important mission for you, since you are the only warrior capable of carrying out this mission. I want you to completely eradicate the entire multiverse of Zenos-Sama, as well as all its inhabitants.
You know that they call me the Archangel of Death. That's the best mission you've ever been able to grant me. So leave it in my hands.
I knew you'd be perfect warrior to carry out this great mission. I'll leave it in your hands completely. I'm counting on you.
It wasn't a bad idea to join you after all. I wanted to destroy a few planets. Right now, I'm leaving for the multiverse of that damn. The Archangel of Death would begin his great journey into the multiverse of Zenos Sama. Meanwhile, Tsuyokomi would approach towards his king.
My king, I have a question. Why have you chosen the Archangel of Death? If you know that with me, it would be much more than enough to end all that universe. You are my right-hand man, and I'm not gonna let anything happen to you. Those bastards, I'm sure, are up to something. And if not, when the Archangel finishes his mission, I'll plan to end his life, since I'm sure he thinks the same.
Returning to the planet of Beerus, Zeno-Sama, after days transmitting his power, would stand up, while Kakarot would be observed as he slept peacefully.
My lord, have you been able to heal all of Kakarot's energy veins?
That's right, Daishinken. Although it's cost me too much, my son is out of danger. Now he just needs to rest for a while so he'll be able to access his new power.
That is amazing. So, you've been able to do what you've even left me impressed. Since I am aware that I'm not weak at all, but I also have a bad feeling.
You're not the only one. Even though I've gotten all this power, I feel like my body is shaking from feeling to death. And I don't know what's gonna happen.
Mr. Beerus, at this moment we will start with our training, as we really must be able to use this in the new training.
I agree with you, Whis. It'll be better to train in another dimension to have better results in a short period of time.
I agree with you, Mr. Beerus. That's how the deities of Universe 7 had left for a different dimension to begin with their great training. However, at the moment, Solomon would likewise approach Daishinken.
Daishinken, we must also train. I want to recover all my sealed power, as I'm sure we'll need it in this great battle that's coming. I understand, but I don't have the necessary power to train you. My power's not able to cope with you. Don't worry about that. I'll grant you a lot of angelic energy so that you'll be able to have better results in your workouts. Don't worry.
Both warriors had likewise left for one of the rooms of the Kingdom of the Whole, while Zeno-Sama was meditating next to his son with the intention of recovering all the power and essence that he had given to his son. It had already been 2 months since this event in which Kakarot would begin to stand up, realizing how Zeno-Sama was training. But in the distance, Kakarot, possessing the perception of the much more developed energy, was able to perceive how a powerful warrior it was approaching. A warrior who on this occasion was capable of finishing off any warrior who puts on his forehead.
Father, a mighty warrior's approaching. If he keeps the speed up, he'll be arriving in about 3 weeks. Kakarot, are you sure? You've just woken up. Your senses must be a little altered due to all the time you spent out of combat. No, Father, I'm completely sure of what I'm telling you. In that case, you and I will have a rigorous training, since you've never had the opportunity to train with your father. But now, I'll grant you the best training.
Father and son began with their great training, which on this occasion the power of both seemed to collapse, since Zeno-Sama had the right knowledge to know that the Saiyan warriors became more powerful thanks to their battles, while meditation was only to master their essence and power completely. After about 2 weeks, Kakarot on this occasion was even able to recover his tail, with which he had not been able to increase in power. However, in all this time, he had never observed the full moon. So, on a night that both were training, Kakarot was able to observe the full moon for the first time, becoming a gigantic Ozaru, while his power seemed to have no limit whatsoever, beginning to destroy everything around him. What will happen next? Find out in the next chapter. Well guys, this is all for today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment and subscribe. Now without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.